Today, I want to talk to you about the surprising way that you give away your control in your life and business. So, for those of you who are new here or don't know me well, I am Leah Borsky. I am the best-selling author of the book Eat to Beat Stress, and I'm a holistic wellness strategist for ambitious women who are ready to stop self-neglecting and start feeling really good in your business and life as you build your success. And what I want to talk to you about today, as far as how we give away our control, is something that is pretty obvious when you look at it, but we don't really think about it very much. So it's all about choices, right? We live in a time in our society where we have more choices than ever before, really. There's choices, we can be overwhelmed with choices, right? And what happens is that sometimes it feels easier, hi Sue, sometimes it feels easier to just not make a choice. There's so much going on, there's so many different options, there's so much information. There's information that contradicts other information, and so we get like kind of this information overload, and it's like, holy crap, I don't even know what to do, so I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just not even going to worry about it right now. I'm going to set it aside. I'll come back to it later maybe, right? So how is that giving our power away? Well, or our control away? Both, really. Well, let me give you an example. So let's say I get my power bill, my electric bill, and I'm like, I don't really know if I want to pay that. I don't know if I should. I don't know if it's right. Maybe they made a mistake. It seems too high. That doesn't seem right. I don't want to pay that, right? But instead of like going and being assertive and taking the action that needs to happen, like calling the company and saying, hey, I think there's a mistake, or what's going on here, or how can we resolve this so that I can pay my bill on time, right? Instead of taking those steps or doing those things, I just say, well, I know it's not right, and I'll get to it later when I have time, or if I have time, right? I'm just going to set it over here. I'll get back to it later, and then, like with everything else, life comes in and takes over and fills up all that space with other stuff. And what happens is there's always a consequence whether we make a choice or not. There's a consequence for not making the choice, which is either you're going to get a late fee on your next bill, or they're going to shut your power down, right? And you're not going to have power in your house. So that works with us too. We can't sit here and kind of dilly-dally around and like, oh, I'll get to it. And how are we going to take care of ourselves? How are we going to power ourselves? How are we going to be our best if we're kind of like putting off all those things that are really important, but they're like, oh, they're overwhelming, and I don't want to think about it, and I don't know what to do about it, and I don't know how to handle it, and I don't know what is the right thing to do, right? So for us, if we put that off and we just kind of set it aside and we don't make the choice, here's the thing, even if you don't make a choice, you're still making a choice. So if you refuse to choose, there's a song, I can't remember who, I think it's Rush from way back when, I think it was the 80s. There's a line that just popped up for me, something about even if you refuse to choose, you still made a choice, something like that. But it's true. Like, even in the not choosing, you're choosing. You're choosing to not do anything, which means that you essentially are choosing the outcome of that indecision or that lack of action or that, whatever it is, you're choosing the outcome, and you probably aren't going to like the outcome because it's not, hi Julie, not what you wanted. So it's important to look at it from the other side, where we need to know what we want. We need to know where we want to be, how we want to feel in our life, and make choices that support that, right? So the thing that happens a lot of times is that we were kind of conditioned to think that our only two choices as far as taking care of ourselves or how we feel in general is we either have the choice to do what's good for us, which is like no fun and boring and hard, we believe, right? Or we can do what feels good and it's fun and we enjoy, but usually that's not the thing that's good for us, right? And we kind of battle between these two, like, I want to feel good, but I also want to be healthy. I want to feel good, but I also want to, be taken care of and have energy and be successful and all these other things. And they feel like they go against each other. And the truth is, they don't have to. It's all a matter of choosing what you enjoy, choosing the little pieces and bringing them in and starting to put those into practice, and the things that do support you. So, there's a lot of different aspects. I talk about nutrition all the time. I talk about fitness a lot. I talk about stress relief practices. And in general, our culture is kind of like, oh, those things are boring. Those things don't feel good. Those things are not fun. They're a lot of work. They're too hard. I don't have time. I don't want to do it. I'll get to it later, right? I'll get to it later. I'll do it if I have time later, because I don't really want to do it. And that's what it comes down to. We got to think about, number one, we got to think about the after effect, the consequence. Okay, what's going to happen if you do this? And what's going to happen if you don't do this? How am I going to feel while I'm doing this? And how am I going to feel after I've done this, right? Because sometimes it can take a little bit of time, a little bit of practice to start to feel those effects also. It's not a magic pill. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's the other thing we like to wish that could happen. It's like, I'm going to take this magic pill and everything's going to be great. And I'm going to have so much energy and I'm not going to have to think about it. And I'm not going to have to do anything hard and all this stuff, right? There's a happy medium place where it can feel good and you can choose things that you actually enjoy, and it's not a punishment and it doesn't feel gross, and it gets easier the more that you do it. So if you're coming from a place where you're not used to having healthy habits at all, which is where I was 12 years ago. So I'm telling you from my own personal experience, it doesn't matter what your choices have been in the past. I've told you guys before, I was a smoker for 16 years. I used alcohol as my stress relief, like all through my 20s. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past as far as what your now choices and your future choices can be. I think we get stuck there too, where it feels like, well, I've always been this kind of person. I can't be that kind of person. And really, I want to break down this barrier of like, there's those kind of people who are like health nut kind of people, and then there's those kind of people who like to eat stuff besides like wheatgrass and rice cakes. And it's like so extremely opposite, but there's this place in the middle where it's not all wheatgrass and rice cakes, and it's not all, a free-for-all and like do whatever you want because it doesn't matter. Like, there's a consequence for everything. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, is to really think about what choices are you making, even in the unchoices, even in the places where you're not necessarily considering that you have a choice. or not necessarily considering that you're choosing one thing over another. Your inaction is a choice. You're inaction, you're indecisive, you're not like taking a step forward. You're choosing the opposite of that. Does that make sense? So to really think about that, and how can you make choices that support yourself? How can you, if you don't even know, that's what I'm here for. That's what I help women with, is finding these feel-good activities, these feel-good practices. They feel good while we're doing it. They feel good afterwards. We know that we've taken care of ourselves, and we get the effect of the actions that we took. So it's kind of this compound effect, but it can be really simple, and it can feel really good, and it can change your life in amazing ways when you start to really be proactive and take these steps and take care of yourself and stop neglecting. And that's the thing, neglecting, like we just, oh, I don't have time, so I'm not even going to think about it. But that's neglecting yourself. That's not making a choice. That's making a choice to neglect yourself, right? To leave yourself hanging, to leave yourself not nurtured. And when we're not nurtured and we're not taken care of, shit starts to fall apart. It's the total truth. You know, we're women, we're nurturers. It's funny to me that that's our nature, that we're nurturers, and we do it for everyone else except for our own selves, like 99% of the time, right? So really think about, what are you choosing? Where are your boundaries? What are your choices? What are your options, right? So I wanted to share with you, I'm still taking appointments for the Uplevel Your Life Discovery calls. It's a 30-minute call. We'll get on and chat via video chat just like this. So we'll be looking at each other, talking to each other back and forth, and gaining a better understanding of each other and how we can work together to create this for you. So I have just 5 spots available for the 90-day Uplevel Intensive, which starts on October 1st. And this is really about making those choices, knowing what your options are, and being supported in making those choices, and building this really personalized, streamlined self-care program for yourself that you will carry with you forever, as long as you choose to do that. It's not a 90-day like one and done kind of thing. It is very much we're doing it in real time. We're doing it together, and you are exploring your own likes and dislikes, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and building it on together, but totally based on you and your unique needs. So that's what the program is about in a nutshell. I'd love to talk with you in more detail about that. I'll go ahead and put the link. Schedule your call right away, and I look forward to talking with you. Okay, I hope you have a great day.